I don't know what it is about today, but I just don't feel well. You can probably tell by my voice. So Jen has graciously decided that the best cure for being ill is a tub of ice cream and a bottle of Coke, and then we're going to watch a video. That seems pretty good to me.
Yes, Dr. Jennykins prescribes an intensive dose of Ben & Jerry's.
That looks remarkably complicated.
It's red hot here.
Not bad. At least you dressed for the occasion.
That's why I'm dressed for the occasion.
So, do you want to explain for the viewers what you're doing?
Right, well at the moment I'm putting some of the empty boxes from my model railway stuff up here out the way.
Okay.
But then ultimately I'm running cables for the new security camera system that we've got. But unfortunately, because we have a log burning stove and a tile roof with no underfelt, a lot of the soot is being blown in under the tiles and it's ending up in the loft, so it's a bit sooty up here actually. It's quite unnerving.
Oh wow. It's like a small room up here.
It is. It's been used as a small room. People who we bought the house off stored all their rubbish up it. So underneath me it's floorboarded, but we just put all the insulation straight on top of the floorboards.
Oh, so I see.
So this, I mean, you can stand up in here as I am demonstrating, but man, it is stifling and warm in here, obviously because dark tiles, sun on dark tiles.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we're going to convert the loft, and it's actually quite a big space because where there's this dividing wall, that's the end of where they've boarded it, but it goes on that way, and we want to put a gable end on the end of the house. That will actually
You're
mean...
just using this for storage, aren't you? That's my Mac and my Wacom tablet, isn't it?
Yeah, they're just the empty boxes, and then these, covered in black bin bags to protect them, are empty boxes from my model railway stuff.
Okay, I'm going to go back down now because I feel like I'm lightheaded and I don't want to drop.
Yeah, that's cool. Right, smell you later.
So she's drilled a hole in the ceiling after we put everything else in. But here's the thing, didn't cover any of the retro consoles. So I don't know how much of this is going to have been damaged. And my Mac, no cover. I've cleaned the Mac. I did put cover over it when I saw what she'd done. I'll have to wait and see how it's gone. I'm a bit concerned because stuff went in the back of the old Amstrad stuff. So, yeah, hopefully I don't have to open them up and clean them. Hey guys, I'm starting to feel an awful lot better. I think this has just been one of those 12-hour virus things. And as a result, I'm feeling quite good now, so I'm going to get back to filming the vlog. What I want to talk about is something that came up in the paper. It's about teachers suggesting that we shouldn't allow kids to experience failure because it would demoralise them and psychologically harm them. I have a lot to say on that one, but first, this place is now covered in brick dust and stuff from the ceiling because of the DIY that's going on. So I've got to tidy everything up because every single part of this computer is covered in brick dust and that's no good for it. So I'll get back to you once I've finished this. Okay, I've cleaned everything up as well as I can. Unfortunately, when I closed the door, more stuff dropped, so I'm not sure where that's come from because it seemed to come straight from the ceiling, but there's no hole there. So I'm going to hope for the best for this. I've got the little action camera set up just above the computer to film this piece of paper, and I'm going to use that to make a little diagram of what I'm talking about here. Now here's the thing. People seem to think that success is a measure of effort by time that goes up like that. We have effort here and time there. And that if you put in a lot of effort over a lot of time, then success is guaranteed. But that's not what success looks like. Success, unfortunately, looks more like this. You have effort and you have time. If everything was nice and dandy, what we would have is a straight arrow. But unfortunately, life is not like that. What actually happens is you put a lot of effort in, and then something happens and you fail. Then you put a lot more effort in, and then you fail. And then you put a lot more effort in, and then you fail. And then you put a lot more effort in. It's always a series of peaks and troughs. Peaks and troughs are not bad, because here's something that people have to learn, and it's best that you learn this early. Failure isn't the end of the world. Success is a lot of failures built up on one another where you learn how to do things and learn what doesn't work. If you never experience failure, then you never learn how to be a success. You may achieve something in one particular area under one particular set of circumstances because you've been lucky, but you don't know how to replicate that. You don't know If you are successful without ever having failed, you don't know how to be a success. Now, this is something that Terry Pratchett once said at a question and answer session he held in Second Life a couple of years before he got knighted. He said, when asked by a struggling author, how can I be a success in today's market? And he answered honestly, I don't know. And the reason that he said that was because he had never been a success in the modern market. And that's very true. He had been a success because he knew one person, he'd been in the right place at the right time, and he'd been taken on by a guy who was looking for a certain thing that Terry Pratchett was able to provide at that time. He's never had to fail in that respect because he made a success by luck. And fair dues to him, he was a very good author, and he's actually my favourite author. I loved his books. But he was a success under a specific set of circumstances. So he couldn't give advice on how to be a success under other circumstances because he had never failed under those circumstances. And this modern idea that's going around is that failure is detrimental to children. It's not. And to illustrate this, let me use an example from my own life. I have failed at more things than I care to even try and remember. And every single time I've gone, oh, well, that didn't work. But how about this? And that's how I built up my career. That's how I get to be a politician. That's how I get to be an artist. That's how I get to make films every day. Because I failed at many things. And I've worked out why I failed. And I've tried again to achieve goals that I set myself that I've already failed at once or twice or 20 times, but under different circumstances. I always try something different. Think, right, that didn't work, so I won't do that next time. I'll do this instead. Oh, that didn't work either. Well, I'll try this. Oh, that does work, but that other thing over there doesn't work. So I'll do that, but I'll try something else over here. That's how you make it. You have to fail in order to be a success. Here, another example, Thomas Edison. Now, I know he didn't actually invent most of the things that he's given credit for, but his quote is great. When asked about inventing the light bulb, he says, I know 1,000 ways to not make a light bulb. What I'm trying to tell you here is that failure is a part of life. It's a necessary part of life. And if children aren't learning how to fail and come back from failure, then you're setting them up for a massive fall that they will not be able to cope with. Just look at the presidential elections in America. You've got Donald Trump, a guy who's literally had everything handed to him on a plate his entire life, and he now acts like an overprivileged, self-entitled baby, and he doesn't like to be wrong because he doesn't know how to cope with it. He's never had to be wrong, has he? He's got the world on a plate. He's never had to fail. And as a result, he's a self-entitled, whiny little baby who gets angry whenever he's criticised because he can't cope. Modern teachers seem to want to make modern children unable to cope with failure. And that's not a good thing. We don't need an entire generation of self-entitled, spoiled little Donald Trumps. We need people who can cope with picking themselves up after something's gone wrong. So no, I don't like this idea that failure is detrimental to children. It's not. As long as you aren't telling children that when you fail, you're worthless, which I've seen some teachers do in the past, I will freely admit that, but that is a failure of the teachers, not the children. And that's all I've got to say on that one. Anyway, that's really all I've got time for today, because I've been ill most of the day and needed to recover. So hopefully we'll get back to a proper vlog tomorrow, but thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.